Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we are going to be watching a clip from the Joe Rogan Experience. I have not watched a clip from this show in quite some time, so we're going to talk about it. So this video is titled "Does Weight Cutting Give Fighters Eating Disorders?" And Joe has a prominent fighter on the show, and they're kind of talking about it. Again, the reason that I wanted to talk about this is because there's a lot of parallels to not just like obviously cutting weight for a fight. I am not a fighter, but cutting weight just in general, people that are trying to lose a lot of weight. But then on top of it, something I've talked a lot about, cutting weight for these physique shows or bodybuilding competitions. There's a lot of similarities here. Okay, so for those of you that are trying to lose weight and you feel like you're alone in these struggles, hopefully this video will give you a little bit of solace and be like, hey, I'm not the only one that's struggling with this. All right, so let's get into the video.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
You still overeat when you go out to eat much? I know you've talked about it, and I fucking resonated with that so much. Like, if I get high before I go out to eat, like, and I'm getting a good cheeseburger, like, I might as well order two, because I'm going to eat that one, and I'm going to be hungry still. I'm not even going to fucking touch my, like, doesn't even faze me.
Gluttony.
God damn it. It's such a pain in the ass.
When you're always dieting and cutting weight, do you think that makes you, like, more prone to doing that?
Dude, look at the reason Patty the Baddie gets as big as he is, because it's like, you get this mental disorder. I ate strict as fuck.
So what he's talking about right there is, well, one thing, okay, so for those of you that might not know, a lot of times when people fight in the UFC or boxing, they have to cut weight. And you're like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. A lot of times these people are like 30, 40, 50 pounds lower on the day that they weigh in for the fight than they would be like getting, like just walking around, okay? So it's like a massive difference. You're right, everyone's a little bit different. Some people it's not as extreme, but there are some people where it's a very, very extreme cut to get down to make the weight, right? So that's what we're talking about here. And then when they talk about Patty the Baddie, he's a very popular fighter, but he has insane fluctuations where they show a picture of him, so you guys will have a little bit of a visual, but he fluctuates like an insane amount between what he looks like when he fights versus what he looks like when he doesn't, okay? So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of an overview.
About 10 weeks before that fight, like, I would have a little cheat meal on a Saturday, but the closer they got to the fight, 4 or 5 weeks out, I was just eating so clean to where right after, it's like I'll order 2 cheeseburgers, fucking some appetizers, and just eat until I'm so uncomfortable and so much pain.
Oh my God, look at Patty. I'm gonna send.
So this is Patty right here, right? So like, this isn't the best photo, but it's insane. And again, what he's talking about is like basically like binge eating, right? You cut, right? This happens to a lot of people that are trying to lose weight for a competition. You cut, you deprive yourself of so much stuff that once you do the show or do the fight or whatever, you're like, finally I can have these things. And again, to relate it to, you know, more of my stuff and what I talk about, this is why I am so against extreme diets, because again, they work, right? We see these people that are competing, that are fighting, that they lose the weight, they get down to the weight that they need to, but then the moment they're done, the moment they are finished with the cut, or they feel like I have reached the point that I'm trying to get to, it's downhill. Because you don't know what to do. You feel like you have deprived yourself for so long, you're over it, right? And so, again, the reason I'm sharing this is because if you feel this way, you're not alone. Like, there are people that would claim to be very mentally tough, right? These people are fighting for a living that still struggle with it, right? So there's nothing wrong with you. It's just hard. This stuff is hard.
Send you a video, Jamie. This dude he posted today.
Yeah, Patty's. And I'm not, who am I to fucking say, but I mean, I know that's just not good for you. How much he gets up to 200 pounds. That's like me getting up to like 190 or 185.
Yeah, that's a lot, dude.
It's sad. It's like, that's not good. But it gives you this mental disorder from eating. But fuck, dude, if you take a couple puffs before dinner, it depends how high you get. There's levels of high. If you just get a nice little high and the food just tastes better and you can just really enjoy it, or you get too high and you go in there and you just feel like a bottomless pit and you're eating the fucking bread and the appetizers, then you're eating your fucking other appetizers, then
I really don't understand how people can lose weight while also partaking in marijuana. Like, because, bro, I don't know. I don't know how you do it because it's already hard enough. And then to add munchies to it, bro,
You're getting fucking 2 cheeseburgers. It's bad sometimes.
Michael Easter was actually just talking about that. He's a guy who wrote this book, The Comfort Crisis, and he wrote this book about a study that they did where they took these guys and they purposely starved them. Play it so he could say it. Michael _
All
Easter.
time was over. Scientists had to call it off. So in that study, I talked about it a few weeks ago. They took 36 men, they put them in a lab for 6 months, and they starved them, like really starved them, because they wanted to know what happens to the human body when we significantly decrease our calories and lose a lot of weight. What happens to our bodies? What happens to our minds? What happens to all these different processes? So it was a really enlightening study, told us a lot about weight loss. But where it started to get interesting is that now they have to refeed these guys and bring them back up to a normal weight. And the impacts of the weight loss were very lasting on these guys' behavior. So for one, they binge ate. One guy ate 11,000 calories a day.
So basically what he's talking about, right, which is why I am such a fan of trying to do things at a reasonable pace. It doesn't have to be super slow. But again, it shows when you starve yourself, hopefully you never actually do that to where you literally are not eating anything. But when you severely restrict, I'm telling you, it is so much harder to come back from that or get to a point where you no longer, it's just really hard. That's all I'm trying to say. It's very, very difficult to deal with.
He had to go to the hospital for eating so much in a meal, and all of them were eating significantly higher calories than when they started. Second is that they obsessed about food.
So again, this is why I get so annoyed when people are like, just eat less. If you're overweight, just eat less. That's it. It's that easy. It's that simple. It's like, it's been shown time and time again. If you go super extreme, right, to in the diet, and especially like we know many people, there are probably people here in chat, people watching the video, that they know themselves they have lost a lot of weight and gained it back, and it is so much harder to lose the weight once you've already lost it once. I mean, I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad or feel like discouraged, but it's just the truth. One, you've already lost the weight. So now you are doing something you've already done. It's not even novel anymore, right? You're losing the 50 pounds that you've already lost. That's not fun. You're just trying to get back to where you were before. And then on top of it, you are literally hungrier now than you would have been if you never lost the weight. It's tough.
It was on their mind all the time, just as it had been when they were starving. And there's a handful of other really fascinating things that happened that basically ended up bringing these guys above the weight that they started at. So after this crazy diet, they actually ended up heavier.
Yo-yo, right? We've all heard the term.
This can tell us a lot about diets today, how we should approach them, how we should think about eating normally once we've lost weight. There's a link in the bio if you want to learn more. Check it out.
What I love Michael, but hey man, that fucking the voiceover, the captions, it's like missing all these words.
I know that was weird.
Like that's the worst like transcription ever.
It's doing it for free.
Yeah, that's the auto captions aren't the best on Instagram.
Like if you have to pay someone to do that. It takes a
Well,
lot of time.
pay for it. Because what is this? You're cutting off all these words. Like,
Significantly.
what's the purpose of having it so
Well,
you can
then-
read it if you can't read it? Like, it's like if you're not listening to him and you're reading that, you're like, what is he saying? There's like, he's missing like key words.
It's also better than not having it.
Incorrect.
I disagree with Rogan, okay? I think what Jamie is probably trying to say, Jamie is the voice that you hear that you don't see. He's basically saying it's better for the algorithm. Like, to put it in there, I'm telling you right now, it's always better to have some sort of caption than nothing at all. So I understand where he's coming from. But yeah, like if you are going to put the captions, you can edit them. And so I think he should have definitely, I'm not sure if he did, because it looked like it got cut off because I don't know. But like you can go through and edit the caption after you've put it on there. You know what I'm saying?
What's just him making it sitting
And
at his chair?
impacts of weight loss were, what does that mean? Guys' behavior. So for one, they binge ate, let's say, and then it gets to this other one. See here? And he had to go to the hospital for eating what?
Yeah, that
and
is
all
weird.
of them were eating significally what than when they started? What?
Yeah, what if you can't hear and you can
can't
only
read that?
It's better than not having it.
You're out of your mind.
No.
You're out of your mind. No, it's
Even captions on rules
it's
here.
better to not have it than to have it where you can't fucking read it. because there's a bunch of words missing.
Well, have you ever watched captions normally? They are about
not that good. That's
accurate.
or not that bad, right? That's pretty bad. Whatever program he's using, that program sucks. Maybe he didn't know.
Probably
it
built
sucked.
an Instagram.
Yeah, it's probably just like a built-in
Really?
one. But
Yeah.
interesting study.
Did that bad? Yeah, very interesting.
That's
It's just, it's just so funny. Hear it like, how do you not know this, Joe? Come on, dude.
dude, it's so true. Every fighter will sit here and say the same thing after a fight. If you cut a lot of weight and you make weight, and then, I mean, even for me, I still eat really clean leading up to the fight. But dude, I see fighters at the fucking breakfast buffet eating eating shitty fight day because they made weight, or after weigh-ins that night they're eating shitty.
They just want to eat.
I keep it clean until after the fight, and then after the fight I let loose a little bit. But this has been the best I've done. Usually, because for me, bread, cheese causes inflammation. Like I work with a nutritionist, Dan Garner. He's working on a really, really cool protocol right now, a concussion protocol for me. He's done 10 plus labs for me. I've been working with him for like 5 years. He has a ton of data on me, but we do a bunch of, like, right now we'll be in he's making a protocol for me outside of camp to eat, and so he has all my data. But I've been doing a really good job not overeating. This each time it gets a little bit better, and it's a knowledge thing and a discipline thing.
Does he meal prep for you? So he makes you.
He lives in Canada. He writes it out. I have a meal prep company in Arizona, all organics, that makes my food
that's
throughout
great.
the entire fight camp.
So I don't think we need to go over the rest of the video, honestly, because they kind of just ramble. But the reason that I wanted to share this was because it's something that a lot of people really, really struggle with, right? And I'm not going to comment about the nutritionist stuff and him having, like, I don't have any information about, like, the best diet for after you're getting concussions, right? Like, I'm gonna let him do his thing. But I just thought it was interesting to hear, you know, this is something that a lot of people struggle with. And then on top of that, the study that was mentioned, it just shows you that, like, losing the weight in extreme ways, yes, I understand that it's enticing and it's something that you want to do, but there can be damage. So just, like, chill out, relax. It's going to take a little bit of time. That's okay. But I'd rather people do it correctly and see more success than lose the weight super fast, gain it back, and then be at a worse place now than they would have been if they would have just not gone so hard. But I'm kind of curious, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. If you do like the video, a thumbs up really does help the channel out a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.